laid out, you can see I have two tensioners for the Elna Supermatic automatic and zigzag. So I had that scrap Elna Zigzag that had its tensioner in it, and the Supermatic that I replaced the drive gear for the hook has severe tension problems. So I'm going to build... I took both of these tensioners apart, completely cleaned everything up. The automatic one had a ton of grime all over it, and the Supermatic just doesn't seem to have any tension, so it needed to get cleaned. So we're going to reassemble this. In the inside the sewing machine, this is the side you see, and then everything is assembled and goes. And see the wheel there, it gets assembled and placed in like so, and then the wheel pushes a pin through this hole here. So you just check that both of these pins fit in one of the bodies, and then we'll double check that they're both the same length. Yep, those pins are the same length. So I'm just going to use this body, pick one of them. It seems they're both the same. The two springs I have are bent slightly differently. This one has a bit more take-up in it. So I'm going to put that in like so, and now the automatic had this extra shim washer in it that I don't know what happened to, or if there was one in this zigzag or not, but then the tension discs slip on here. One disc, and that's moving okay. And then we've got our divider for doing the double needle sewing, and the important part is that our tension take-up spring actually rides in this hole, so we have to put that in and then rotate it around so that the notch locks in on that spot there. And then I did check these discs to get the ones that were kind of the shiniest and cleanest looking, since I'm rebuilding this. So that is the sandwich of discs and our take-up spring. Now one of these pins with a cross in it goes through the center. This is our actual release pin. And now on the back side, this long flat spring is a piece of spring steel, and I'm just going to check these are both flat, so it doesn't matter which one I use. And that sets in position, and this cross pin goes through the tension release, and then has to get popped over the stud. And maybe this other one will cooperate a little better. Yep, that one popped over the stud nice and easy. Yeah, so this cross pin has to pop over the stud, and then there's a retainer nut here that just keeps that cross pin from popping off. And this is a lock nut, but it doesn't have any adjustment factor. It just needs to be on there to hold that lock pin in place. And then when the tensioner is installed, the pin goes through the center and pushes on the middle of the spring steel, and the major tension adjustment is the lock nut that holds the far end of the spring steel in place. So I'm going to put that on. Most of the way. I think these are both 6mm, but anyhow, well, these fully cleaned, and then here's you can see the center pin. This pin is what gets pushed by the tension dial to change the amount of tension. So I'm gonna pop this up in place and see if cleaning that and reassembling it will bring us tension back. I don't have the door on off of the Supermatic, so but to reinstall your tensioner, it faces this way. This is the door off the automatic. You have to tip it a little ways to get the ear here to stick out the side of the door, and then there's 2 screws to hold it in place, and now that there. So there, and then with the 2 screws in place, that pin is all lined up, and we can turn that knob, and you can see it pushes the center of the spring up. So I'm going to pop this out and install it in the Supermatic and see what happens.